All right, so it looks like we have made it to the final leg of the Formula One 2024 season. It has been incredible so far. Definitely the best since 2021 when Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton battled for the championship. This seems a little bit more wide open in the sense that it is Lando's to win, and Max is basically not defending his championship anymore at this point. He doesn't have the car to compete wheel to wheel with the McLaren, but he's doing his best to put together the most points he possibly can every Grand Prix weekend. And if he can put it together enough points to hold off Lando, he'll do it. But interestingly enough, Lando's 52 points behind Max, and it's a chance that he might catch him at the very end. But Charles Leclerc is only 34 points behind Lando Norris, and if Lando were to have an unexpected DNF on any one of the weekends, surely Charles could cut into his lead by at least half. And behind Charles Leclerc is Oscar Piastri, who's only 8 points behind him. As all four drivers, any one of them, Max, Lando, Charles, or Oscar, could finish in P2, even if Lando is the only one that has a legitimate shot at finishing as the 2024 champion. So it looks really exciting. I look really forward to this. There's a lot that needs to play out. We have 6 Grand Prix weekends left, 3 sprints. So all in all, it's 9 races. And between those 6 Grand Prix weekends, Lando will only need to cover just about 9 points per weekend to get to Max. All he really needs to do to make that happen is win races. He certainly has to win them. All he needs to do is find himself at the top step with 1 or 2 cars between him and Max, and he'll certainly do it. Other things to look for in the final leg of the 2024 season is Liam Lawson is back in the RB seat in place of Daniel Ricciardo. So now this looks like a wide open competition between him and Yuki Tsunoda for that second Red Bull seat. So it's also important to include Sergio Perez in that mix. Sergio Perez should be finishing ahead of them, but given his history in the past 2 seasons at qualifying, Saturday might be the more important day for all 3 drivers. Every time that an RB seat finishes ahead of a Red Bull seat on Saturday, it's going to be important to look to see which driver it was. Was it Lawson or was it Tsunoda? Every time they do this, they make their case a little bit firmer to replace Sergio Perez on the Red Bull team. Perez has no intention of walking away from F1 regardless of what people think or speculate or any rumors. Mexico Grand Prix is definitely not going to be his last race, nor do I think it's going to be a place where the team or he will announce a retirement of any kind. These guys are drivers for life. It's in their blood. They're never going to walk away voluntarily unless they don't see any significant or important future ahead of them. And I don't see Sergio Perez walking away from a top team voluntarily, especially when there are no positions left on the grid to fill besides them. Speaking of no positions left to fill, it's important to see who might fill that Audi seat. I'm curious to see how Franco Colapinto is going to do in the Williams. He has 6 races left since he'll be replaced by Carlos Sainz. And I kind of hope to see him back on the grid. He's kind of an outside shot. It seems like Mick Schumacher is back in the mix for that seat. It seems like former McLaren driver Pourchaire is also in the mix for that seat. It's wide open, competitive. I don't think Valtteri Bottas is going to get it. I think it's good to move forward with the younger driver to pair with Nico Hülkenberg. And I'm kind of hoping that it's Franco Colapinto. He flew under the radar in F2 racing, and he seemed to be a bit of an unknown quantity, but he looks like he's made and ready for F1. The media likes him, the fans like him, he seems very comfortable in the spotlight, and he's performed really well in his few races at Williams so far, and hopefully he'll do really well to close out the season with them as well, and maybe push Alex Albon a little bit and get him ready for stiff competition with Carlos Sainz. Also, it's important to know that even though McLaren is ahead of Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship, Ferrari still has a shot at P2 in the Constructors' Championship. This also probably weighs on Sergio Perez's future. Red Bull losing to McLaren is understood. It should happen. McLaren is out in front. They have the faster car with 6 weekends left to go. But will Red Bull fall to 3rd place in the Constructors' Championship behind Ferrari, who's not that far behind them? Unfortunately, Mercedes is 112 points behind Ferrari, so they're not going to be in competition for the P2 and P3 spot, but they certainly can have an impact on the races, on all of the championships, both the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors' Championship in the weeks coming ahead, especially with Brazil. We all know that Lewis Hamilton loves to race there, and George Russell has had some recent success there as well, winning 2 years ago. So I invite you guys to check out the notes down below. I am a Formula One artist. I create art on canvas, one-of-a-kind originals and prints that will be available on my store, radoartstudio.com. It's a lot of fun. I haven't posted too many long-form videos. I hope to work on them in the future to close out the season and have some off-season videos as well. Please check out my art. This is all just to be a part of the community, talk about the sport at large, and to highlight some of my work as well. I really invite you guys to come and check out the website. It's really cool. I love racing. It's so much fun. If you can't tell, I'm a McLaren fan. Oh, look, there's a Michael Schumacher print. Check it out and let me know what you think.